close and tangents? Hey, listen. We need to take advantage. Okay, I'm going to come breathe down your neck here if you're not careful. Okay? Monday. No, you have February 16th off.
Is that for Women's State?
No, that's President's Day.
President's Day off? I love it, man. Wait, so when's our state day?
Yeah, when's our state day?
I think it might be St. Patrick's Day, but I'm not sure.
Oh, we're marching
Okay. All right, problem number 1. Hey, listen, we have a lot to do. I need your attention now. Let's get focused. I'm going through the quiz problems. These are also potential for the next quiz you have, which is on Monday. All right? I have already in my head changed the pi over 3 into 60 degrees. Everybody okay with that? 180 divided by 3, 60. So now I'm going to draw 60 degrees. Not everybody got this problem right. I need you paying attention. This is a 60-degree angle. Across from the 60 is root 3. I have memorized that the other leg is 1 and the hypotenuse is 2. I want the sine. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse or root 3 over 2. Does anybody have a question about that? Next, I'm doing the cosine of 270 degrees. How did I get 270? The angle was 3 pi over 2. Pi is 180, divided by 2 is 90, times 3 is 270. Now, something special about 270, kids. What's special about 270? It's on the axis. When they're on the axis, we do not have a triangle. Instead, we need to find x, y, and r. We have just gotten in the habit of letting r be 1 every single time. It just makes our life easier. Right? If the radius is 1, then this point would have the coordinates 0, -1. Here's the origin. We're going down 1. So x is 0 and y is -1. We want the cosine. Well, you need to remember that cosine is x over r. X over r would be 0 over 1, which is not undefined. We're not sitting on the egg. 0 over 1 is 0. Tangent, 3 pi over 4. That's the tangent of 135 degrees. Now again, how did I do that? 3 pi over 4, pi divided by, or pi is 180, divided by 4 is 45, times 3 is 135. So I'm going to draw a 135-degree angle. How do I know it's over here? Well, it's bigger than 90 but less than 180, right? So this angle would be 45 degrees. It's 135 to 180. That difference is 45 degrees. The sides of the triangle are 1 and 1. But since I'm in quadrant 2, that 1 will be negative. Katie Roth, you doing math on that iPad? Now, what's the tangent? Tangent is opposite over adjacent. That's 1 over -1, which is -1. Anybody have a question about that? And the last one is the secant of 300. The secant of 300. Tim Kelly? No. No, that'll be a detention. You know, I'm already on the verge of being cranky. Just be good and be nice today, kids, okay, please? 300 degrees. All the way around to here. How do I know it's over there? This is 270, this is 360. So 300 would be somewhere between 270 and 360. This is the angle I need to know, and it is 60. Right? So across from the 60 is root 3. There I labeled by sides. This one would be negative, because we're right and down. So the down is negative. I want the secant. Oh shoot, what's secant? Secant is reciprocal of cosine. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So this will be hypotenuse over adjacent. So hypotenuse is 2, and adjacent is 1, so the answer is 2. Everybody okay with that? All right, let's put that away, and let's get out last night's homework, which was your graphing worksheet. And while you're getting that out, I'm going to pass out. This is not tonight's homework. This is actually going to be tomorrow night's homework, but I'm going to give it to you now because I'm not going to be here tomorrow.
We get accused of
Whatever happened on hot surprise.
Yeah. So who has a question about
What did that?
anything from the graphing worksheet? I will actually do any graphing worksheet you want. You've had it for homework 2 days in a row. So is there anything on that worksheet? I think it's called worksheet 4.4 to 4.5 maybe. Is that what it's
Are you
called?
gonna miss us
Huh?
the next couple of days?
I'm gonna miss you yesterday. I missed you yesterday.
How was your
I especially
engineering?
missed you when the lady was breaking down my neck.
Here's the difference between the students and the teachers, or at least the students and the teachers. I love coming to school and seeing you guys. When I don't see you, it makes me sad.
Me too, Miss Ward, this is what you get. I love seeing you, Miss Ward, but I don't like doing your work.
Yeah. Retweet on that. I love your presence, but what comes along with that sometimes could be
Here's one
like
class I do like lunch. I like lunch. And
gospel
I did
choir.
like ceramics when I was in there. I got to take my anger out on clay. But
Gospel choir.
gospel choir, beginning right,
Sing through the pain, sing through the tears. But I will say this, Miss Ford. How was your engineering conference?
It was good.
Wait, you might see why I might be a little confused, because it doesn't appear as though you're an engineer. So why did you have to go to an engineering conference?
You went with Mr. David too.
I did what was Mr. David, yes. Okay.
So, you didn't answer.
Worksheet 4.4 to 4.5. This was your homework the last 2 days. I did the video solutions to the first part of it, but obviously I did not do the video solutions to the second part because I'm here. So did anybody have a question about 11 to 20 or 28 to 29? I think that was the homework. Tim? 16? Let's look at number 16. Yeah, 16 is a biggie. Let's look at it and see if we can talk about what's going on. Now, first thing, we're graphing a tangent. So I'm going to keep in mind what a normal tangent looks like. Now, I don't get a cheat sheet on this test, okay? I've got to memorize that's what a regular tangent looks like. Any number I put into the equation, this is the equation y equals 10x. Any additional number I put into the equation is going to impact that picture. Okay? I have a positive tangent. That means its basic shape is the same, that's the origin. Its basic shape is the same. Now, Patrick pointed out, because, I don't know, watched the video or something, he pointed out that when you put a number in front of a tangent, what it does is change this curvature. But since we really don't know how much, I'm not even going to worry about that. If you want, in this case, this would actually flatten the picture out. So it would look, instead of having a normal tangent shape, it would have a curvier shape, more like this. But you do not have to worry about that. I am not asking you to mark curvature changes on your picture. So this number in a tangent problem really does nothing except change the curvature. Now keep in mind, if it's a sine problem, the number out in front has a big impact, right? What does the number out in front do? Controls the height of the hills. Does this picture have a hill? It has no top, right? It has no top or bottom. So you can pretty much ignore this 1/4.
Okay.
The only exception is if it's negative. If it's negative, you have to turn your picture upside down. Okay? Now, what about this 1/6? Well, that 1/6 divides the period. Now, the period is this distance right here. What is the normal period of a tangent?
Pi over 2.
The normal period is pi. This is asymptote to asymptote, that's pi. The normal period of a tangent is 1 pi. Groupies, that's different than the sine and cosine. The normal period of the sine and cosine is 2 pi. For a tangent, it's 1 pi. So you start with 1 pi, but it's been divided by a 1/6. That is pi times 6/1 or 6 pi. So your period is 6 pi. That means from hand to hand is 6 pi. So you go 3 to the right and 3 to the left, and that's how you get 6. So that's the answer. That's the answer to that one. Okay, Tim, does that sort of make sense? All right, did anybody have another one on this sheet that you had a question about? Patrick?
Well, the A was the height, was it called?
The amplitude,
Almost
tangents.
0.
Don't say 0, it's none.
None.
So you either write none or you put an empty set symbol, but tangents don't have amplitude.
So
They go forever. Amplitude has to do with height, and obviously tangents don't have that. So that would be, this is going to be a no-brainer question for you. If it's a tangent problem, amplitude is none every time. Anything else from the sheet? Let's try 15, if you're okay with that. Let's try 15, because it has a negative in front of it. Okay, I just erased my tangent curve. Hope I can remember what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to graph my tangent, so here are my asymptotes. Now, I told you you didn't really have to worry about that 8, but you do have to worry about this negative. What does a negative do to any picture? Turn a negative here turns it upside down. So now I'm going to have a picture that looks like this. Now, the reality of it is, if a little number like 1/4 makes your picture curvier, what do you think a big number like 8 is going to do? Make it straighter. So if I were worried about that, which I'm going to go ahead and draw because I'm the teacher and I should have some accuracy, it would be a very straight curve like that. But you don't have to worry about that, but you do have to have it upside down. Okay? Now where are my asymptotes? Well, what's my period?
Pi.
My period's supposed to be pi, but I stuck an 8 in here, so now my period is pi over 8.
Yep.
Now that means that what were the normal labels negative pi over 2 and positive pi over 2, those are the normal labels, have been divided by 8. Everything's divided by 8 horizontally. Well, division by 8 is the same as multiplication by 1/8. So I'm going to multiply these by 1/8, and what are the labels on my asymptotes then, since everything gets divided by 8? Negative pi over 16 and positive pi over 16.
Your answers yield like 11.25. You just bring it down to the decimal or something like that.
So what did you say the answer was? Oh, okay, so no, we need to leave it in terms of pi. If you want to write the fraction, like pi over 2 is 1/2 pi. If you want to write that as 25 pi, that's okay, but the pi sheet says okay. Okay, anything else? Why don't let's pick a sine or a cosine there for practice. Let's do number 20, just because we haven't done one of these in a few days. I mean, it's been a long time since we had class.
Yes, it has.
All right, so let's look at this.
Broke his neck.
All right, now,
Broke it.
who remembers what a cosine looks like?
It doesn't touch
Oh, it goes like
the...
this. A cosine
Yeah.
starts at the top of the hill and ends at the top of the hill, right? Remember, this is a cosine.
This one's going to be back.
But because it's negative, it's going to start at the bottom of the valley and end at the bottom of the valley.
Yes, it is.
This is an upside down cosine, and it's upside down because of the negative. Right? Now, how high is this curve? 1/2. Its amplitude is 1/2. This is your amplitude. That tells you how high your curves are, your hills and valleys. Right?
I'm sorry, my chair is speaking, and I just can't stop laughing about it.
Hey, oh.
That's not the, is that the end of the period?
Is it 10 minutes past?
See you on Monday.
No, it's over.
It's counting.
That is not the right bell.
I was going to say, that's...
No, you wasn't. You could have clicked your mouth shut.
You were close. Y'all would've got up and ran.
You should have sprinted out that class. Should have hit that
Now.
4-4-40.
Right about it, was my pants even more.
How did you get packed up and out of here?
I just grabbed everything that was there before I was.
Okay, now here comes the hard part. I want everybody paying attention, please. This is the hard part. You cannot get full credit for this problem if you don't have your x-axis labeled. You've got your y-axis labeled, great. But now we need to label our x-axis. The period of a normal cosine is what?
2 pi.
2 pi. This one has been divided by 2. That means that everything gets divided by...
Please excuse that bell. The correct bell will ring at 9:20.
Everything, every label, horizontal label, is going to get divided by 2. So, what's 2 pi divided by 2? Pi. That's why I put a pi there.
Oh, pi.
Now, all of these also get divided by 2. Kids, they're fractions. So if you want to, instead of dividing by 2, what could you do? Multiply by 1/2. So we're going to multiply everything by 1/2. So that would make the first label pi over 4. The second one would be pi over 2. The next one would be 3 pi over 4. And the last one, as you said, is just 1 pi. This number divides every horizontal mark. Every mark in the horizontal gets divided by that number. If you don't want to deal with the fractions in division, then multiply by the reciprocal.
Dude, my mom was calling. I had to tell her I'm wearing math. She gotta call me back.
Gotta learn about them tangents, amplitudes.
Yep, I don't know anything that you're writing. I'm trying.
Okay,
Hopefully
is
get my
that,
question on Thursday.
At graduation, we'll be able to laugh about this, but right now it's serious.
If I make it to graduation, I'll be crying.
You're gonna make it.
all right, would you
Yeah,
get
we
out
attended.
your
Yes.
packet? And in your worksheet packet,
Anybody get text about if you don't finish your service hours, you'll be here during the summer? I don't need that. Why do you say I graduated? Take that piece of paper. Right? I don't care.
all right, I can't find mine right now, but in your packet, your worksheet packet, you have something called oh, that's where it is. It's on the chair. Okay, in your packet, you have something called Review 4.1 to 4.5. Review 4.1 to 4.5. It's the original one that's in the packet, not the one I just gave you, but the one that's in the packet. Review 4.1 to 4.5. Now you will notice that this guy has, well, it's a couple pages long. And I need to make a correction on the last page. So would you look at the last page? I got a little carried away. So the directions for 13, we need to change the directions. Yep. We're going to cross out frequency, phase shift, and vertical shift. We're going to cross all that out. The only thing you are responsible for finding is period and amplitude. In addition, question B. On question B, I want you to simply mark this off. So you are finding, or you're graphing y equals 2 sine x. That's question B. So you will graph a tangent, a sine, and a cosine, as well as do all of the other problems. Now, this is your homework. I'm going to let you begin it right now. If the problem has an asterisk, a star next to it, it means use your calculator. If it doesn't have an asterisk, then that means you should be able to do it without a calculator. Ron, you want me to confiscate that? Okay, so is everybody clear on your homework now? You are doing review 4.1 to 4.5. Got it? Got it. Solutions are posted on my website. I worked them out. I worked out the solutions. You also have the answers on the back of the page, the written out answers. So if you get stuck, you're going to either look at the worked out answers or you're going to watch the video because they're all there. Got it? Okay. Thomas, you will turn that off for me. Thank you. And then hand it to me.